Right guys, okay, here's the barrel, the front end anyway, and as you can see there's resin everywhere, but it quite remarkably just peels off the tube, and it's not too bad either on the aluminium. A little craft knife and it'll just come off. So what I'm going to do, here we go. Alright, now all I've got to do is trim that down flush with the aluminium. Okay, the sparks you can see were coming from those brass screws where I hit that, but that's pretty good. So now just trim off the resin. Yep, that's going to come off pretty quickly, pretty easily. Little bits of overflow here, I've got a scraper somewhere, so what I'll do, I'll get onto that, clean that all up and get back to you, and I'll show you the front end. Yeah, that's going to work a treat. That's very good. And it even seals the hole, whatever's left there. So, talk to you again soon. In doing this in the last day or so, I've noticed something which appears to be something of a... The weapon seems to have something of a hunchback just there where the red joins the yellow, which is a bit annoying. As you can see, we've got rid of the hunchback, mostly, but it's a lot better. What I had to do was cut this complete bit off, straight, and I fitted this pipe which made it nice and stiff, and then I couldn't figure out what sort of glue to use or how I was going to put it on, and so I did a search on YouTube, and there'll be a link in the description. Some young guy said make your own glue out of your offcuts of the ABS and acetone. So just chuck some offcuts in a jar, acetone, and depending on how much acetone you put in, you can get different consistencies. And this is pretty thick, like a filler, as you can see, or as I hope you can see. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know the colours, reminds you of certain things that come out of your nose, but I use mostly yellow plastic. So, what I did, I put some along both surfaces, pushed them together, just taped it up, and it held. It's actually really strong. So, what I'm going to do, I put this tape here just to catch any overflow, so it doesn't melt the plastic, because that's basically what it does. That's what a glue does. Chemical glue chemically welds the plastic, i.e. melts it, so they stick together. So what I'm going to do is just take off this cover, pull off the rest of the tape, and hopefully give you a close-up of the actual join, weld, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm thinking, actually no, I will take it off because I've got to replace it. I'm going to actually do some filling with this stuff too, because it's nice and thick. The acetone's evaporated a bit. So let's see if I can get this camera out of here over and at that joint. I'll probably edit this heavily, but there you go. You can see it is pretty rough, but this area here is going to be filled with a little wedge of putty, smooth out, jointed in. So what I was thinking was, I had one more piece to put on the gun, and it was this lower handle, and I thought, well, I'll use some of this glue, and it worked. Just take that off. So if you look down here, you can see a huge gap, but that's because just the way the plastic mates with the surface. What I'm going to do is wrap some plastic, some tape around all the exposed plastic, then just trowel in the gooey acetone glue I've got, and see if I can get a nice heavy joint. So when I've got it already set up and ready to go, I'll get back to you and we'll take it from there. See you soon. Okay guys, here we go. Now, what I've got is the gun. I've got it clamped to the table, I've got it leveled out, and as you can see I've put tape all around basically where I don't want the acetone putty to go. So I'm going to trowel it in there. I've got a couple of little tools I've got ready. I've got, obviously you can't use a piece of plastic or it'll start to melt. So I've got an old Stanley knife blade. I've got a brush which I will dip in acetone if necessary to make the plastic soft, maybe as a key to begin with. I'll try that in a little area, see how it works. And then I've just got the old brush to trowel the acetone in. And I do have a small piece of plastic I'm going to use to scrape it in. That will melt. I'm not really worried about that. We're just going to see how it works. So start off a little bit of acetone on the plastic. Yeah, you see it discolouring already. This will just make the surface a little easier to take the actual putty, I believe. I'm hoping, because like you, I've never done this before. But we'll give it a go. Sort of a little bit like putting watered down concrete on a wall before you render it. Okay, got my goop, and it's fairly goopy, as you can see, pretty disgusting. Really disgusting. But anyway, so what I've got to do is somehow get it in that gap. So try my trusty blade, and just a little test shows me that works a treat. It just falls in. Now I wouldn't dare even try this if I didn't have a Dremel, because I'm not going to be sanding this stuff away by hand. But I'm managing to get it in all the big holes, which is really cool. Probably the trick would be to put it all in first and then smooth it out. Get as much there. It might even be just to put it on the paper, on the tape in front of the hole, and then trowel it in when I'm ready. That will probably be all. And I've virtually just about run out of the putty that I made, so I'll try and get this back area done. Make some more and do the front. But as you can see, the thing is, this stuff is formed as skin because I haven't got a tight fitting lid, because when you do it you've got to leave some air to vent out, because it is acetone, and you know you want some of the acetone to vent off so it does actually congeal a bit and make something like a glue or a filler. I mean, there's a great big bit of skin, but I'm wondering, there's a great big hole under here. I'm wondering if I can jam that in. Once it's dry, it will actually help solidify that area. And it just jammed in just like that. That's pretty cool. Now, where's my brush? I'll just put some acetone on there. And let's see how this works. I reckon the trick will be to, once I've got it smooth enough, is to pull off the tape straight away, because we don't want the plastic drying over the top of the tape. Right. Now I'm going to need some acetone. What I'll do is put some acetone on my brush, dump it all over there. This is getting pretty disgusting and messy, and I haven't got gloves on, which is incredibly stupid, but it's actually working quite well. It's a lot easier than I thought it would be. Excuse me, I'm just going to get some more of this goop out of here for this hole on the far side. Now, This stuff, I've not measured how long it takes to dry, but considering the rate at which the acetone evaporates. Now, this is totally experimental on my part. Despite the guy with his video, I've never done this, so I'm trying to be as cautious as possible. You probably all remember the time when you were building your Sherman tank or your Mercer Smith, you put way too much glue on and things started to sag and melt. So that's what I'm hoping to avoid. What I think will happen is this will just bond with the plastic surrounding it, and that'll be it. And there'll be a little bit of filling, but now what I'm doing now is just using raw acetone to paint over the surfaces to smooth it, which will help me greatly when I come to sand it. So there won't be that much stuff to get in the way of the sanding and get stuck on the sandpaper, and tear the sandpaper. So that's basically it. I will get on and do this, get all the filling done, I think, and then finally, I know I've said this before, but finally we'll be on to the painting. Okay, talk to you again soon. Bye guys.